cause for the amendment to the 1999 Constitution has been a major debate, especially in the National Assembly, where a succession of lawmakers have failed, apparently, to take the bull by the horns and engineer a comprehensive remake of the nation's conundrum. One of the long-standing issues in this respect has been calls for creation of more local government areas, in addition to the existing 774 entities which constitute government at that level in Nigeria at the moment. However, eyebrows are being raised in certain quarters regarding ongoing attempts in the House of Representatives to recognize only local council development authorities in Lagos State instead of the lawmakers to work towards easing the process of local government creation across the country. Well, joining us now to have a quick conversation around all of that is Maxwell Opara, a lawyer. Good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us here on Newsday.
Good afternoon, Cynthia. Good afternoon, Vimba. It's my pleasure to be here once again.
Great to have you, of course. Now, how does this selective recognition of Lagos State's 37 LCDAs set a potentially dangerous precedent for constitutional amendments across other states?
Well, it's going to be a very big issue. I want you to look at it in this way. Of course, you see, Section 7, Sub 1, guarantees the establishment of a local government, the structure, and what have you, to the State House of Assembly. That is to say, the State House of Assembly has been empowered to create local government. Now, the question you ask yourself is that now that we have 37 local government that purportedly be created by state and Lagos State government, which the House now want to pass into law for the president to sign it, for it to be recognized as a local government. Now, if that scales through, it then means that Lagos State government will be having an allocation, statutory allocation from federation account to all those local governments. Now, that is to say, now that we have 774 local governments, you now add that 37, you now see the kind of numbers we are going to have. And those local governments will be receiving statutory allocation from federation account. Now, the question you ask yourself is that, what will be the national implication? The national implication remains that other states, House of Assembly, can come up with the creation of their own local government. A state like Imo can come up with 60 local government in their own and ask the National Assembly to pass it into law. So this is this is going to be a very big, have a national implication. I think the best way to resolve this issue is, first of all, amend the Constitution. This is Section 7. Then set out the criteria upon which a local government will be created, and remove the entire establishment and creation of local government from the State House of Assembly, because you cannot pass the bill recognizing 37 local governments to be included in the Constitution, to be included among the 774 local governments as we have now for Lagos State. And you are expecting Sokoto to keep quiet. You are expecting Imo to keep quiet. You are expecting Bayelsa to keep quiet. They should be coming up with their own, and the thing may cause national calamity. So I feel the best way to approach these issues, first of all, amend that particular framework. Let us have the criteria and let the creation of the local government be the responsibility of a National Assembly. Then you cannot talk about the management of the local government, the structure and what have you, can go to the State House of Assembly, but the creation, in quote, should be the work of the National Assembly. That is my view on it.
Okay, well, let's look at the potential merits of this particular development, because some who are for it are saying that, well, Lagos State deserves more local government areas. Look at the level of development, the level of investment, economic activity, and the level of migration into Lagos State that we see on a daily basis. Are there any merits at all in this bill, proposed bill, excuse me?
We are saying the same thing. I'm not saying that Lagos State is not qualified to have extra 37 local governments. I'm not saying they are not qualified. I say let there be a criteria, established criteria. If you're not saying that a state deserves more local government, are we going by the numbers of people living in that state? Are we going by the land mass? What are the criteria are we using? So if we have a standard criteria that before you now apply to National Assembly to give you more local government, you say that my state has merited this particular criteria. And that's what I'm saying, that let us amend the constitution and come up with a unified structure, a unified criteria that everybody, if you need more local government, let's say if you are talking about population, if you say that if you have up to 3 million persons residing in your state, you are qualified to have this local government. If you are coming to that angle, so be it. If you are not saying that it's by land mass, so be it. If you are not talking about the internal generated revenue from that state, so be it. Whichever criteria you want to use, but let it be unified, so that the issue of Imo State House of Assembly creating a local government, Lagos State House of Assembly creating their own, Sokoto creating their own, Bayelsa creating their own, it will create confusion. It will cause national calamity. Because if you watch very well, last week when this issue now came up, you discover that some state house of assembly has started sitting, discussing of having more local government in their own, especially my state, Imo State. Are you know what I'm saying? So what we are now saying is that if you want to have this thing, so that it will have a national spread, let us amend the constitution, come up with, remove the establishment of local government from the state, come up with a criteria, so that when you meet up the criteria, you apply to National Assembly that you deserve a state. And when National Assembly investigated and discovered that you merit it, they will create the state for you. That we are just saying the same thing. That is my position. So if you say that local government, Lagos State, they have land, they have more population, they have land, revenue, they have this thing, I think that will not hold water without amending the constitution.
Well said. Now, of course, as a lawyer, what legal risks currently exist in creating a constitutional carve-out for a single state's local government structure?
Pardon? Come again.
What legal risks exist in creating a constitutional carve-out for a single state's local government structure?
That's what I'm saying now. It has a national implication, because if, as we are speaking now, you have not amended the constitution to come up with the criteria and to go ahead to pass that 37 local government created by Lagos State into law, and the president now assent to it, and you now included it in the constitution, adding it to the 774 local government, and they are receiving statutory allocation. And another state now came up with their own and you refused. It's going to cause it will have a very big national implication, which may not be good to our country that is already divided along ethnic, religious, and tribal line. So the point I'm still making is that for you to have it, let it have a constitutional background. Let us amend the constitution. If you go ahead to amend this, the people are coming with their own. And as you granted that of Lagos State, you should be ready to grant that of Kaduna, that of Kano, that of Imo, that of Anambra, that of Bayelsa, that of Akwa Ibom. So you should be ready to grant it. Where you fail to amend this particular constitution, removing the creation of local government, establishment of local government from the State House of Assembly.
All right. Let's, as we begin to round up, let's take this conversation in a different direction. I recall the other day we had a conversation around this local governments with another gentleman, and he was of the opinion that we don't even need that tier of government anymore. he was saying local governments should just be scrapped because we're unable to really see the dividends of the work that is coming out of local governments. They are now being manipulated by politicians and to run political agendas and so forth. This is the opinion of that gentleman, by the way. I'm curious, how effective do you think local governments are when it comes to service delivery and governance? So is it time for us to talk about removing that tier of government as opposed to talking about adding even more?
No, I disagree with that person. I enjoyed local government system as a young boy growing up. I enjoyed local government system. You see, when you have a functional local government, it is when we begin to have all these corrupt governors, all these retired, expired criminals managing the states. That's when people don't feel the impact of local government. Local government has its own duty. Rural electrification, rural roads, working with the traditional rulers, market development, working with the PG of communities. In fact, this is the government that is closer to the people. Anybody who is talking about scrapping the local government don't understand the intention of creating local government. Now, what are we talking about? We thought, you see, one of the best things who have benefited from this government is trying to make the local government to be independent and be functional as we used to witness it in the past. But now, the president now, the governors have seen the president as somebody that can back but cannot bite. If the president ensure that the local government have their own autonomy, financial autonomy, and what have you, we will enjoy it, and nobody will be talking about scrapping it. But because of the governors are looting the money meant for the local government, that's why people are talking about scrapping the local government. Let the president ensure that Supreme Court decision is being implemented.
Mr. Maxwell Opara, lawyer, we'd like to thank you for your insight and your time here on Newsday. Thank you so much for joining us.